days left for early voting, and it's no excuse. No excuse whatsoever. Now, I talked to several people the last voting cycle, not the last one, but a year ago, whatever that was. And I found 3 people who have never voted. You know what they told me? It's not going to do any good. It's not going to help me. Oh, really? So you have kids? Yes. You have any grandkids? Yes. But you know, when you vote, you voting for their future. Did you realize that? What you vote today is not instant. It's going to take time to go through the process. So you're voting for the history of your kids and grandkids. That's what you're voting for. And if we can't get up there and vote for that, then we're always going to be stuck in this mode right here on what we're doing. So I don't know if they voted, but they told me thank you for letting them know that, because they didn't know. You know, so people, remember back in the days when we all sat back and see, I'm going way back. I'm going way back to the 70s. Where we sat down, we talked about who was running for office and who we going to vote for. We got into some heated discussions about somebody voting for somebody else that that other person didn't like. It's a choice. So what? We can't do that nowadays. People are so divided nowadays, it's a crying shame. They're just plain divided on what they're doing. So if you vote for one or the other party, they're mad at you. They want to fight you. Why'd you vote for him? Why you vote for her? I don't like them. That's your opinion. I like them. That's why I voted for them. I like what they standing for. I like what they're going to say for what they're going to do for our community. And while we're waiting for Coach K, I just want to say one thing. We need to stop worrying about the fat cats in Washington, because they're going to do what they want to do. But we control locally who we want in office, from school board, county commissioner, county judges, councilmen, councilwomen, appraisal district. We could turn around and start it local. Worry about local. It's so easy to do. I don't care what anybody says. It's real easy to do. So that's what we're doing. Let me see. What do I need to play here? Let me see here. I'm going to play some spots right here that'll help us out and see what we're doing. Let me see here. Let's do this one right here, because we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend.
Shirts and surrounding areas. Pull up. Saturday, February 21st, from 12 noon to 5 p.m., it's Rebuilding Black Wall Street. One vendor at a time at a Chicago Bite, 820 Main Street in shirts. Shop and support amazing vendors like Honeybee Scents, But God Clothing and Apparel, Renee's Fine Chocolates, Girl Scout Cookies, Super Patch and Clothing Brand, plus the Guadalupe County NAACP and MLK Commission, and the San Antonio 40 Plus Double Dutch Club. And don't miss WSAN Radio with Ron G, live remote on location. Come out, sell, shop, connect, and help us rebuild, one vendor at a time. This Saturday, 12 to 5 at a Chicago Bite. Be there.
San Antonio, it takes a village to save a child, and we need you. This is Ron G on WSAN Radio, calling on our community to step up for the Triple L Backpack Drive in partnership with True Light 127 Ministries to support foster children in our city.
Mark your calendar, Saturday, July 25th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Horizons and More, located at 2818 Northeast Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas. Here's how you can help. We're asking everyone to fill one boy's backpack and one girl's backpack with essential school supplies: pencils, pens, paper, notebooks, glue, Kleenex, markers, and more. Bring your filled backpacks and drop them off at Horizons and More during the event. When you give, you're doing more than donating supplies. You're giving confidence, hope, and a strong start to the school year. Triple L Backpack Drive. Fill a backpack, change a life.
And that is so right, everybody. Fill a backpack and save a life. See, we were talking about voting. We had that going on, and people said they never did vote. And I sort of had this to mix in with this, Coach K. I said, you don't know who you'll vote for, but you need to get ready to vote. And so since you were coming on, I jumped up and said this about your weight. You see your weight and you don't know what to do. It's just like voting. You got to study on what you want to do. Are you ready to lose that weight? Are you ready to keep it off? Because it's up to you. I don't care how many polling places you go to, you are your main candidate. So if you want to take time out to lose that weight and keep it off, it's just like going to the voting booth. Once you make that choice, you got to stick with it. I'm just saying, Coach K, I'm just trying to put voting and and losing weight the same way. I try to come up with an analogy. I don't know if I was right or wrong, but I had to say that.
Well, I mean, I applaud you keeping the theme of voting going in every segment. That's what's up, right? That's what's up. I do feel like it is a commitment. Like you said, and yeah, you could make the comparison, but it's a commitment to say this is what I'm doing. Actually, before I jumped on here, I was telling her how me making the commitment to say I'm gonna do Veggie Mondays was something I wanted to do because I felt like I needed to make that commitment to myself. I felt like, that was something that I could do to make sure that I'm just, doing the best that I can, right, for me. So I did it for me. I definitely feel like once you say I'm doing it, but also you're doing it realistically, that you're not looking for the shortcut, you're looking for the long game. I used that phrase, yesterday, I said, some of the things that I've done in my life, I looked at it as a long game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to your health, I think that that's what you need to do. Look at it as in the long game. We don't often do that. We don't, definitely in your 20s and your 30s. That's not something that you're really thinking about. You're like, hey, I'm out here living life, right? It's not until usually 40s is when people start getting health conscious, right? That is typically the age that we start saying that we're going to do something. 9 times out of 10. Not to say that you're not doing anything, in your 20s or 30s, but you're probably just playing with it. But now in your 40s, you're like, maybe I really should take this a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
Now, I applaud my daughter. She's turning 24 on Sunday, and she actually had a neighbor that was a year older than her and had the same name. So this 25-year-old single mother died of bone cancer.
Ooh.
Right. And my daughter was like, I noticed, because, I started noticing her, putting her watch on again. It showed me she was completing the workout or whatever. And, so I asked her, I said, hey, I see you've been moving around. And she said, yeah, watching her, she said she was a year older than I was. She was 25. She said, I'm about to turn 24. She said, I just feel like I needed to do better, and I know better. So, she's on that. And I think that's great. Noticing that, having that realization at that age, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, because she said, I know better. I mean, I know that made you feel proud. Oh, look at my
Well,
baby.
I tell anybody, honestly and truly, my children know what to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? My children know what to do. My son, he watched me train people, go to their houses, or they, came to whatever location. It may have been my garage I was using or whatever, but he saw that no, you don't necessarily always need the fanciest stuff to get the job done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I recently he said that he had to go and get. He got his grandfather sent him a gift card for Christmas. He said, "Yeah, I got a few things." He said one was a set of weights, a couple sets of weights, and a salad spinner.
They still make those?
Heck yeah! I use the salad spinner. Actually, the one that I have, he got me for my birthday several years ago, 10 years ago or so. But it was better than the one I had, because the one I had broke. And this one, you got to lock. It locks it in and stuff. Man,
Oh.
that's nice. Yeah.
Oh.
hmm Yeah. So he knows what to do. He knows what to do. Both of them do. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
I'm proud of that.
you talk about salads. I have never been that much of a salad eater till recently. And now I'm eating that salad like, ooh, this is pretty good. Where was this 10 years ago? So I'm eating my salad and stuff like now my wife don't like onions. I like the red onions in my salad. I just like it.
I like onions. I just like onions in my salad.
Yeah, and I just go from there and some nights what's for dinner? I said salad sounds good. And I find myself eating more salads and everything. We went out one day. I think I told you this is recently. We went out one day, and I didn't get nothing fried. I got the blackened fish and all that stuff, but I got the red beans and rice, and it was so salty. And I said, I can't eat this. It's too salty. It's amazing how when you veer away from certain items, as soon as you taste it, it's like it's overwhelming. But before you did that, you didn't know it was that bad. When you stop doing that, eating sodium like that, and then you taste it, it's like, ooh, I've been eating like this all the time and didn't notice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel that way about sugar. It seems like, when I decide to have something sweet, it's like, all right, but it got to be the right amount. It can't be too sweet. I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do, and it's not that I don't. I still have, talking about restraint. My girlfriend came over and she brought dinner. She also had some of these. They're delicious. The Dove dark chocolate. And it's something new, but it was something new. It had like strawberry. Oh man, let me tell you something. So, true story. This is true story. So I just took a couple. I took like maybe about 4 or 5, and I had a little silver bowl on the table, and I put them in. Well, the wrappers are silver, and they had like a little pink and whatever. So I didn't pay any attention because I really can't really see it once I put it in the same color. I guess it didn't even matter. So I did good because the next day I didn't even think about it. One, I can't see it. It's in the bowl, the same color. Then I remembered. I was like, ooh, yeah, got some of those dark chocolate things, right? So I said, went down there, grabbed one. I noticed the bowl was full. She had put more in there, which I guess I remembered, but I didn't remember because I took 4 or 5 in my mind, right? So the first day, like I said, I forgot about it. Next day, I remembered, and I grabbed like 1, maybe 2. Next day, I had like, 3, maybe 4. No. the other day, I think I had about 6 or 7, and I said, So I taught a CPR class yesterday. Everybody had some mad chocolate in their bag. But you have to have the ability to know, like, this is going too far. You know what I mean? And that is not always easy to do. Sometimes you really don't. You think that you're doing so great, but you're not. You're really not, because especially with sugar. Sugar comes in so many forms and so many ways. So just because I say, I didn't have any chocolates today. Maybe I had some Ruffles chips. Maybe I had grits. Maybe I had pasta. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I had, white rolls or whatever, yeast rolls or something, Hawaiian rolls.
Yeah.
Sugar. Just because it wasn't candy didn't mean that I'm not. Maybe I had an old fashioned. Sugar. A beer. Sugar.
Oh, yes.
So I say that honestly, because I know today is like, Ash Wednesday. It's the first day of Lent. And I was thinking, I said, girl, I think you need to give up sugar. Like, it needs to happen. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to commit to it. I'm just going because already, like you said, I'm doing my Veggie Mondays. I'm back on it. I was there, I just feel like I just need to improve on it. It still needs some work. So I'm going to put that into play. And by me doing so, honestly, the Veggie Mondays spills into the rest of the week. Like, this morning, I had a grilled cheese, but I use multi-grain bread, first of all. Only one. I only eat one kind of bread. I love it. It's my favorite one. But I don't eat sandwiches on the regular, you know what I'm saying? But so I don't buy lunch meat on the regular, you know?
Yeah.
So I had, I was like, oh man, I have nothing. All I have is vegetables. Legit. All I have in my refrigerator right now is to go and eat is vegetables and some couscous. Real talk. That's it.
You know what I find myself doing? I will go out and buy these unsalted wheat crackers.
And no sugar.
Yeah, but not with all that salt on it. But I get one. I get a little, and I read the labels on some of the stuff that I get. But if I get the munchies or something, I may eat a couple of crackers and drink with some water, and that water fills me up, and I'm good. That's what I do. Now my wife, she not into much of that veggies, but she loves these different type of crackers and cheese and all. I just look at her.
And I don't blame her. Now I'm not gonna lie. I usually, when I do cheese, I don't usually have crackers. It's a treat for me to buy crackers and have crackers. I really just have conditioned myself to not if I'm doing it, I don't need to go overboard with it. So it depends on what the situation is. So
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times though, as long as we're doing those things intermittently and not all the time, and that's where, like I said, where sugar is the biggest culprit. Because it's everywhere and it's hard to avoid. You know what I mean? So, I think for me, I'm just going to make sure that, I don't have no more of them dang chocolates or nothing in here like that. You ain't got to worry about that.
Then
look, this boy over, I didn't even know because again, I'm very, if I'd say I'm not doing it, I'm just that strong willed. Not always a good thing. But she brought over some tiramisu. I said, I don't care for it. And she said, well, have you had that? So I remember I had it and I wasn't impressed. So I never tried it again. So she was like, well, I said, I think it was like soggy or something. And she was like, well, no, try this and so forth. And so I tried it. I was like, dang it. It was good. I'm like, no. I don't need to like something new.
No, it hit those taste buds, didn't it?
It did. I was like, oh no.
Boy.
So the good thing about me though, I used to run back and forth to the grocery store so much that I really don't run in and out the store like that. So even if I did, and I would have to remember. I mean, it would have to be a whole thing. I'm not going to put it on the list.
Yeah. Hey,
It's not happening.
guess what I'm building next week?
What?
I am building my containers to start growing my veggie garden.
Awesome.
I got everything. I'm gonna build it next week and get everything together because I think the cold weather is. We may get one more, but I don't think it's gonna be bad. And I'm going to start planning everything.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be ready. I already got the lined up. But the one thing I'm gonna plant that I tell everybody about, they think I'm crazy, is pinto beans. The reason why I'm saying that, we always buy the pinto beans that are dry. But when you get fresh pinto beans out the garden, it's such a completely different taste.
Well, I'm not really a bean lover like that. I eat chili, but
Yeah, but no, it's something different about that, and I'm gonna do that this year, along with my asparagus and
well, asparagus. It takes a few. You can't harvest them for years.
yeah, but have it
Yeah.
planted ready to go. Then I'm gonna have my
Yeah, I have some. I can. I think I can eat some of them like next year.
yeah.
I planted them but I think
And
yeah,
then
it takes a while.
and then some of the spices, the rosemaries and all that stuff, because
Definitely.
I want to go out there and pluck it and bring it in and cook it fresh.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
Now I will say, if probably my rosemary I use more. Just being honest, because I put rosemary in a lot of my cocktails. So even if, like I said, wow,
there you go.
yeah.
Well, you getting your veggies when you drink then.
Listen, but you know what though? Because I am so fancy with my stuff, it definitely, you don't be throwing it back because it takes a little craft, a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I enjoy. I love, like I said, I enjoy a good cocktail, but yeah, I definitely love, when my son was here and he did the cooking for Thanksgiving, he went out there and he, got fresh thyme and oregano and rosemary and, parsley and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
My mint, oh man, I'm hoping that, because the cold, I tried, man, but man, let me tell you, it was a hot mess out there, so I'm still digging through like the rubble and the old stuff or whatever, gotta get some things ready. I'ma move my greenhouse, do some things like that, because again, to sit up there and just go to your backyard and pick stuff.
Yes.
Like you say, I need some onions. Let me go get them from the backyard. I want to make a salad. Let me go get it from the backyard. I grow a lot of spinach because I eat a lot of spinach, so I grow it in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a plus there, Ron. But you know what? Okay, before I get to, we've gotten all down the lane. I wanted to talk about something else today.
Okay.
How about that? But I was so last time we did the show, you said a lot of people really liked the couch potato workout or so forth. And I said, man, that's because people really, we just want it to be so easy, don't we? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. So and I wanted to put out a disclaimer for next time that we meet. I want everybody to have, I forgot to grab it, but one of the circle bands that you put around your leg.
Yeah.
Or you could use it here. So FYI, guys, we're doing that next time. I wanted to put it out there. I'll take a picture and just remind you or so forth. But today I wanted to talk about stretching before bed. So I am an avid believer, and you gotta stretch in order to just avoid certain pains and injuries. You know what I mean? Especially as you get older. A lot of times we'll work out, and you just, especially when you're young. When I was young, I don't think I ever stretched. I would just get up, go on about my business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now, no sir. Take some time. So I would do that, and I started like a whole stretch routine after my workouts now. You know what I'm saying? And it takes me. It's about 20. I literally go through about 10 to 20 minutes of stretching after my workout, and I was going to bed, and I said, well, I didn't work out that day. I was like, man, I just feel like tight. So, I started like kind of just doing, not as extended as I've done, as I do after my workout, but just, a couple of moves, right?
Right.
Just to I felt like to open me up or whatever. So, because I was tight. Man, I tell you, like I said, I because I guess I don't do it right before bed, I never notice how great it feels like when you do it before bed. So I began doing, just like you said, and now where I go through, like you said, 10 to 20 minutes after a workout, I'm only doing like 2 to 3 minutes, before bed, and that 2 to 3 minutes, guys, makes a difference. So I'm here, I always have to make my public service announcement. And that's what it is. Do yourself a favor. Find whatever, movements are most comfortable for you. I personally, like I said, my hips, like I always kind of sit like this. And even when I'm like this, I'm stretching. I'm usually pressing down on my knee. And I do move around a lot, but even so when I come and if I'm talking or so forth, I'm, leaning on my knee. I'm leaning forward to stretch my hand right here. This is one of my stretches that I do. I usually hold it for, like you said, before bed, I do about 20 seconds, each thing, and I may run it through it, once or twice. But when I'm, after my workout, I'm literally holding this leg down for about 45 seconds and just breathing and pushing, it loosens it up. But before bed, like I said, just 20 seconds with just pushing down, stretching it out, cross your leg, right? That's all I'm doing. Cross my leg as I'm talking to you. I'm saying whatever I'm saying to you. Hey, Ron, what's happening? So forth, or whatever, Again, you may be watching TV before bed. You may be listening to something or talking to your significant other, whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But again, 20 seconds just went by, and I've been pressing down on my hips, and I felt better just from that. Another one of my favorite ones is because my back, I'm a woman of a certain age, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes, it gets a little tight, but one of my favorite ones, like you said, I'll go back and cross my leg again, and I'm pushing. So now I'm pushing on the top as I lengthen my back, right? My shoulder, usually it's nothing behind me, but my shoulder is just, I'm pressing my shoulder back, you know, looking forward, and I'm here, like I said, for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And again, I'm watching TV, I'm whatever, but that's what's happening. So now I'm still stretching because my hips are one of the things for me. So I'm still stretching my hip, but now I'm throwing my back in there. And I do the same thing, on the other side,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Like la
20
la.
seconds. 20 seconds,
Yeah.
and then another one of it, I do like an active stretch, and where, like you said, I just touch the floor, and my legs are wide on purpose, guys, like I said, but I touch the floor, and then it's like somebody pulls me up, and I just repeat, right?
Yeah.
For, again, about 20 seconds. And I do that a few times, and man, the sleep, you have to think about it. You've got your blood circulating. When you go to sleep, your body's in the shock. You know what I mean? It's in the shock, getting repaired. So you've helped that along, right?
Yeah.
Drink you some water. Drink you some water. I like to take your Vegas before bed. Take my your fish oil, whatever. Personally, that's what I like. But take that, stretch before bed, drink you some water, and keep it pressing. I think that just that combination, or I'm not saying you have to take anything. It's just that I do suggest that that's the time, like you said, when your body's in the shop. So anything
Yeah.
that's going to help with like cell repair and so forth, whatever, that's a good time to take it. But
Though you hit a point there. I'm gonna go back when I was young. When I
well, we
played.
don't got that long,
Yeah,
Ron. It's
okay.
only
See, there you go. I got somebody else on the other shows messing with me. But I play baseball, and we had spring training. It isn't like nowadays where they're in condition all the time. We got in condition in springtime. And let me tell you something. When we went out there for the first day, for the first 10 days, you walking all funny because you using muscles you ain't used in about 4 or 5 months. It hurts. It's like this. But once you get into the routine, you start stretching, everything is fine. And then, you're all good. So the point I'm making, spring training was hell. Because we were never told to condition ourselves year round. We were told be ready to come to spring training, be ready to exercise, do all that. If we were told back in the days to stay conditioned year round, it'd been fine. But I'm telling you, Coach K, those first 10 days were painful.
I bet they were. I bet they were. One time, back in the day, like you said, I definitely was younger because this was 2015. So that's a good, 11 years ago. And I did a kickboxing. So I helped open a local chain of kickboxing studios here. And they sent me to their headquarters in New York to, learn, because I was one of the managers there, to learn the program and so forth, their marketing and all this. So then we also had the instructor, because of course I was going to be an instructor as well, the instructor's, training. And Ron, let me tell you something. I remember, and I still vividly remember this. And that's why I say to this day, and I like doing a lot of things. Like now, like kind of weights and, weights and dance, I think are my favorite two things right now, probably, my bike or whatever. But for the longest time, it was kickboxing, it was boxing. And it's because, man, the way that your body gets sculpted from that.
Mm-hmm.
I went there. I can remember the outfit. I remember the pants that I had on. And I wore those pants there, and then on the way back, I had to wear them back. I think I must have went through my clothes or something. I don't know. Who knows what I did?
Yeah.
But I wore those same pants back. Ron, let me tell you something. When I went and put them on, they weren't tight. They were comfortable. It wasn't, nothing going on. On the way back, and we're talking about from a Friday to a Sunday. Okay? I could take and put my whole arm in my pants. It was 8 hours of strength and conditioning and kickboxing.
Ooh.
8 hours one day, five or 6 hours the next day. Within a weekend, I was down a pant size.
Ooh.
Down a pant size and 5 pounds. Within a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So I know for a fact, I tell people when they say, well, how fast? I said, I'm going to tell you something. I know how to get it off you fast. You're not going to like it and you ain't got that much money to spend with me. That part. But I promise I know how to do it. Like I said, I knew how to do it. So, yeah, I know how those intense, short periods, they can break you down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They could break you down, but oh my goodness, that made me a believer. I already, because before I went there, I just like boxing. It was just, that was how I got, rid of my weight when I, back in the 2000s, you know what I'm saying? So I love boxing, but you threw kickboxing in there too?
Ooh-wee.
Lord. Boy, let me tell you. That was by far the best shape I had ever been in my life. Far best shape. And only, just being honest, age, my hip, stuff started, kind of,
Yeah.
just, can't be in this thing for X amount of years and I had nothing.
and that's when you start getting older. You got to recognize your limits.
That's right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I know that there are certain things that I still can do, and so I do them. However, I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I am going to make sure that I dedicate time to stretching. So I just, like you said, and even if you're not working out, again, you just need to take the time to really, that still helps you, especially at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you've been moving around, your muscles are warm, so you've been moving around and so forth. Take a couple of moments, I forgot my other one I love, is my stretch. I pull down on my shoulder, hold that for all this, right? So I definitely encourage you, get a timer, you know what I'm saying? Have your phone or your, whatever, mm-hmm. Set your timer. And maybe you want to, do, I say, like you said, I do about, 20 seconds. Sometimes it's 30, depending, because I like to hold that stretch. And when you hold that stretch, make sure you're taking deep breaths so that the blood is flowing, mm-hmm. The blood is flowing. And like you said, and then you're kind of contracting those muscles, right? And just really get in the deepest stretch that you can. So Coach K's public service announcement is stretching is not just after exercise, it's before bed too. Please do make sure, do yourself a favor so that you are a little looser in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. It helps with just being a little bit more loose. Like I said, it helps increase your circulation and blood flow for the body repair at night, helps you sleep a little better. So do yourself, if you find that, you're not getting restful sleep, try throwing in a little stretch routine before bed. See where that gets you.
Yeah.
You know, if you find yourself always waking up in pain, try a little stretching before bed. See where that gets you. Put you some cream. Put you some old chick cream on there too.
Oh. So
Yeah.
let me share something with you that I'm going through.
What's that?
So I went to the doctor. The doctor told me that my blood pressure was just a little elevated. I want to see it lower next time you come in. I said, no problem, doc. You know, just like that. So, you know, I started going to the gym. Done lost 7 pounds already.
Okay, then.
And then when I went to the doctor, she looked at that. She looked at me. She looked at my blood pressure again. She looked at everything. She said, well, we may start weaning you off your high blood pressure medicine. Everything's doing good. And we're going to wing you off some of your diabetes medicine because the numbers are coming back real good. She asked me, what is your goal? I said, to be off all medication altogether.
That part.
That's what I told her. I said, I want to be off of. I don't want to be on nothing.
Yeah.
And
My mom is off hers. I'm
Yeah.
really proud of her.
And she just told me, you keep on doing what you're doing, that it will come. But just keep on doing and see me. And I see her again in April. And for my A1C again. And it's going to be down again. I know it's going to be down because I'm doing everything I should be doing. And it's just, and Coach K know my struggles doing things. I told her a couple years ago, I'm at this plateau. I can't go lower than this right here. Well, I passed it. Now I'm going lower than that.
Good.
You know, so it's just, and that's the reason why I open up saying it's up here. You got to tell yourself you're ready to do it. Because people can tell you things all they want, but they not you. You have to make that decision. And I made a decision. I told my wife, I want to walk around a six-pack, not one I go in the store and walk around with. and she looked at me and I said, I'm going to try it. I got to believe I can at least get a half a pack or something. But but I got my goal set up for that to lose around the mid area. So I'm working on that. And I can see that it is starting to come off. I just got to keep on doing what I'm doing and don't stop.
That's right. That's right. And you know, honestly, Ron, it is a process. And we cannot think that it is going to be shortcuts and a long-term gain, you know, end game. You can't. When you,
Exactly.
you know, and I'm glad that you said, like you said, it starts up here. A lot of things, you know, we always say, well, you know, no, I can't do. But you do it with other stuff.
Yep.
You know, we do it with other stuff. There's so many things that you do that you probably don't need to do, but you've convinced yourself up here that it makes sense. That is okay. You know, you've convinced yourself that you don't need to. Well, I don't need to be bodybuilder. I don't, you know, that's not what I'm looking for. Which is not what I'm looking for too. But I definitely am looking for to be the healthiest version that I can at every stage of my life, because I now am coming to the realization of, okay, Kiana, you're in a different stage. So you have to figure out things differently. Things have to go differently. Like I know that I've been, you know, kind of saying it, you know, and really, but now I'm really buying into it.
Right.
It's like, no, like you said, stretching before bed is a must. You know, getting in, you know, regular cardio, and it's not necessarily that it's like, oh, you know, weight loss and so forth. It's like you said, my body hurts when I don't move. You know,
you're right.
You said, like what I kept saying at the event. What Dr. Musa say?
Yep.
You know, he started going to physical therapy. He started feeling better. He said then he stopped going. He said he realized, man, I should keep moving because I feel better when I'm moving. Moving or losing is a real
That's
thing.
exactly what he said. And matter of fact, I talked to him the other day, and he was telling me, Ron, I'm ready to open up my clinic.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, so what you need from me? I need you there. I said, what's the date? He gave me the date, what time? I said, I'll be there.
Nice.
So I just talked to him. Like, I was telling somebody about your event. I said, there were so many resources there at that event that everybody walked away with something.
Good.
And it was
Good.
real good. And I brag
Good.
about you all the time, Coach K.
Hey.
I mean, I got to say something good about you, you know.
Well, I like you said, I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's cognac.
Well, you that and the bag of chips. No, really, seriously, because some of the events that you put on is people can learn from it. And if anything the way it was this last time around, because I looked out there and almost every chair was full.
I need to, so I'm actually, that was a whole new, I really need a bigger space, and I'm looking for something of the such.
Well, I'm going to get together with you because I'm starting to see a few people out here in the community that have spaces. So
Okay.
I'm going to be talking to them in the next couple weeks, and then I'll talk to you about it. Then I'll set y'all up.
I'm gonna make a move because like you said, definitely in a couple of weeks. I usually have my dates out, and I have the same place, but I need a little. I feel like I need it's time to do a different space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine. And please let me know so I put down my calendar because my calendar is filling
Sure
up.
as
I am sitting down there.
Right.
But since you said it was in November.
Well, the next one will be in September.
Oh, September, I mean.
September will be the Fitness and Nutrition Expo. And I already have some thoughts of that one, like kind of spaces and location. I'm trying to think about centrally located parking, that type of thing.
Right.
So,
right.
And then the November, like you said, is always as close to Veterans Day as I can get it. So those are the two. But even though I know we're saying this is February, but it's almost March. You know what I'm saying? So gotta get it together. Plus, I gotta have my karaoke line dance party.
Yes.
So
yeah, we'll get that together.
I definitely, like you said, I've recouped from this past event. I'm getting back on the drawer, getting it back in together. Like I said, I did kind of get some dates already for the one location, but I think, like you said again, I feel like I need a little bit more space, especially for what because I usually have like the fitness and like you said and the next one is all fitness and so I really would like a bigger space for that. So I don't know, we're working on it, Ron.
All right. Well,
we're working on it.
In closing, tell everybody how they get a hold of you.
Well, if you're looking for Coach K, you can find me on my website at wannagofit.com, and that's WANNA, gofit.com. Wanna. But find me on the socials, Miss Wanna Go Fit, that type of thing. Coach K on Facebook. I'm out here. I'm around, saving the world 1 pound at a time.
That's what I was waiting on, to hear that little right there. Save the world 1 pound at a time. Coach K, like always, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
I sent you a text yesterday. You told me nothing really changed, but I'm still gonna write things and hype it up. I'm still gonna do that.
How about this? You know what? After you said that, I should have told you. I said, I'm redoing kind of my business resume because I would really love to do more MC. I like doing them at my events, but I want to do them at other people's events. I did an event a couple weeks ago where I was, I did line dance and I instructed, their little line dancing thing and pretty much just got paid to start the party. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
was like, I really, really I really would like to just bring some of that flavor to different people's events. I do speak, at different events, but it's different being an MC. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And so that is what, if anybody wants to hire Coach K to start your party, hit me up, baby. I am for hire.
Yes, she is. All right, young lady, you take care and stay in good trouble.
I will. I will. I hope the trouble don't find me. Though. Like you said, I want to stay on the part of good. You
There
know what
you
I
go.
mean?
Yeah.
That part. Remember, guys, though, stretch before bed. Seriously, do yourselves a favor. That's my public service announcement.
All right. You take care, young lady.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
Recording